Hello everyone, Dividend Enjoyer here, and today I'm going to be doing a video about a stock that I just bought today with the big sell-off that we've had today, just so that you guys can kind of understand my thinking and I can also kind of give my perspective so I can go back on this video and see if I made the right decision or not. I've decided to put $500 more into my Chase account and buy another share of Meta for under 500 actually. And my reasoning for this is even though they have the antitrust lawsuit going on and they have data showing that their impressions for ads are lower than what's going to be expected of them, I still think that the business is very fundamentally strong. And I think that over the long term, Meta is going to be very dominant and making a lot more money into the future. And my reasoning for this is actually kind of similar to a book I read by Peter Thiel. I believe the title is 0 to 1. And it basically describes the types of businesses that you want to be involved in. And the number one thing he talks about in the book for a business that you really want to buy into is a monopolistic business. And I think that Meta is one of the greatest examples of a monopolistic business. I don't think that anyone else is as entrenched or knowledgeable about the social media landscape as Meta. And I also think that it's very rare that you get stocks like this at low prices. I do think that the price was pretty inflated when it was around 700. I think that a fair value for Meta would be around 600, so I'm very happy to buy for 500. But I really think that Meta is going to continue to be able to make more money, and I think that social media is going to become an increasingly large part of our lives over time, as it has exponentially become a more significant part of our lives as just people in general. And I think that the data that's in the social media is very valuable. Now, I have been, for the most part, buying more Amazon because I think that it's overall a safer play. But I do still want to be very involved in Meta, very involved in Microsoft, Amazon, and Salesforce. I think that those four companies are being very oversold right now. And I think that each of them has a very high probability of making a lot more money into the future. So I think that now is the time to be buying into them and that you really have to stomach these big losses right now because they're going to come back. I mean, it's not like they're going to drop forever. All of these companies make real products that people use all the time. I think that they're getting smarter. I think that they're getting better at innovating and producing better products over time. I think that the margin's very excellent. And I think that long term, they're going to be able to continue to make more money over time, which is the type of business that I really want to own. And I think that Meta has just been hit way too hard. Now, I do understand that if this antitrust stuff goes through and they're forced to sell some of their social media arms, that's going to be very negative for Meta as a whole. But this is going to take a very long time, and I have faith that their lawyers are going to be able to fight it to their utmost ability. And I think that pretty much no matter what, Meta is going to come out with some kind of positive gain into the future. Whether that's from AI that can give better ads, whether that's from one of the projects that they're investing so much money into to be able to kind of innovate and make something new, which I do think Meta is going to be able to do, whether they develop their own AI, which generates a significant amount of revenue. I think that one of these things is definitely going to lead Meta into making a lot more money. And I think that Mark Zuckerberg is not the type of CEO that is completely risk-free, which is something that I kind of don't like and I kind of do like, because I think by the nature of innovation, you have to be a risk taker. And I think that Mark Zuckerberg is very much a risk taker. And I kind of like having that type of stock in my portfolio, especially when it's been dipping as much as it has been, because yes, you could lose 100% of the money that you're investing in, but I think that it's very likely that there's going to be significant upside, and Meta has very low debt. They generate a lot of revenue, and I think that they're a very safe and sound company going into the future. I think that they most definitely have an advantage when it comes to social media. And I really do think that they are like the ultimate monopoly when it comes to this industry. And I think that they're going to be very valuable into the future because of that. I think that there are extreme advantages that they have, and they've been able to leverage those to completely control social media as a whole. And I think that they're going to continue to be able to leverage their advantages going into the future because I haven't seen any indication that Meta is necessarily slowing down. The only thing that you could really point to that Meta has kind of failed on is TikTok. They definitely could have gotten into some kind of app similar to like a Vine or a TikTok or something like that. But I really think that Meta is going to be at the forefront of social media going into the future. And I think that that's the most likely scenario for them. Now, I do, like I said before, though, I do want more of my money in Amazon just because of the nature of the business. I think that it's more real and it's more safe because that logistical network that they've developed is pretty much impossible to compete with. Whereas people can make social medias, but you have to have a lot of people already there to have the value. And Meta already has that. So the hard part's done for Meta. And if they see an emerging social media, they're probably either going to want to buy it or they're going to want to develop their own version of it. But as far as I can tell, I think that Meta is an extremely strong, very powerful, monopolistic company. And I definitely would rather be an investor in something like Meta than in a smaller tech company that's going to be hurt a lot more by the interest rates and that's just going to be, more risky in general. I think that Meta is a very strong built, resilient company, and I think that the future is going to look very positive for them if we look to the long term. It just seems very likely to me that Meta is going to be making more money in the next 5 to 10 years than what they're making now. And I think that they're also going to be able to increase that dividend more. I know it's not very significant right now, but I think that the compound annual growth rate for a company like Meta of their dividend is going to be very high. And overall, I just think that this is a very good time to be buying into Meta and holding Meta for the long term. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. If you guys like Meta, if you don't like Meta, if you disagree with my kind of point of view on Meta. But overall, I think that this is just an insanely good quality company, very monopolistic, very strong. And I think that this is the times when you want to be buying into companies like this when nobody else wants to touch them and they're going on sale like the way that they're going on sale now. And I'm going to have extreme patience with this company. I've held this when it went to 745 and my average cost was 600. So I could have gotten out then and made a decent profit. But I would much rather hold this company for the long term because I really think that it's a very, very valuable company with a lot of potential to continue to run and very strong fundamentals. So let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate any insights on what your guys' opinions are on Meta. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And thank you for watching. Bye.